body-focused, repetitive behavior. This article below was selected based on the results of a poll. And all the information below came from the transmitter website in the article Repetitive Behaviors and Stimming in Autism Explained. Restrictive interest and repetitive behaviors consist of one of two criteria that define autism in the diagnostic manual for psychiatry. But this domain encompasses a wide range of traits that may appear in a variety of combinations and with different severities. Among people with autism, here we describe the changing understanding of the importance of repetitive behavior in autism and the movement of their acceptance. What is repetitive behaviors? Scientists categorize repetitive behaviors into two groups. So-called lower order repetitive behaviors are movements such as hand flapping, fidgeting with objects, or body rocking, and vocalization such as grunting or repeating certain phrases. High-ordered repetitive behaviors include autistic traits such as routines and rituals, insistence on sameness, and intense. Is repetitive behavior unique to autism? No. Repetitive motor are also seen in other conditions of the developing brain. For example, many girls with Rett syndrome consistently wring or flap their hands. Repetitive behavior are also characteristics of attention deficit hyperactive disorder or ADHD, obsessive compulsive disorder or OCD, and schizophrenia. They are also part of the typical development. Typical infants and toddlers may kick their legs repeatedly, rock back and forth while playing, or flap their fans in excitement. These movements are increasingly thought to be important for helping children understand how their bodies work and to develop coordinated voluntary movements. These early repetitive movements may be more intense in autistic people and persist well beyond childhood. That said, even typical adults may exhibit repetitive movements such as jiggling a leg, drumming fingers on a table, or chewing on the cap of a pen in concentration. They may have an intense interest in a particular band or sports team, much like autistics do in train schedules or butterfly taxonomy. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. And of course, as we know, not all autistics have the same rituals, same routines, same interests. That's not what the article says, but I'm saying that because I'm autistic, and there's a lot of people that are autistic, and we don't all have the same interests or same habits. It's particular to a person. So, how did repetitive behaviors come? I don't know if I remember you. That's a good question. And maybe I'm sorry, and I don't mean to offend anybody for saying that. How did repetitive behaviors come to be understood as an important part of autism? Repetitive behaviors are among the first signs of autism to emerge in toddlerhood. They are seen in people across the autism spectrum. And I'm sorry for anyone that offends, because I don't really like the term autism spectrum. I like autistic people. That's just my personal view on it, being a person that's autistic. Oh, okay. Oh, you were in one of my streams a good amount of time ago. Okay. Oh, hi, and I hope you're doing good. Where am I at? Oh, yes. They tend to see repetitive behaviors tend to be seen in people across that are autistic people. They tend to be more pronounced and in those with lower cognitive ability, however. And I'm not saying this based on my thoughts, this is based on an article because I don't know all of that. I don't know, this is not based on my information. And sorry for this next part for anyone who's offended by, because I know not everyone likes the term Asperger syndrome. That's why I say I'm sorry in advance because this part does mention a little bit about Hans Asperger, just a little bit, like basically one sentence. But I just wanted to just say that for anyone that may be offended by that. So repetitive behaviors may have been recognized as a part of autism since the condition was first described by Leo Kanner and Hans Asperger, noting that movements by repetitive movements and insistence of sameness in the first children they described, and as well as, I'm so sorry in advance for if I said this name wrong because I do have pronunciation problems. I think her name is Grania Solhareva. Sorry if I said that wrong, because I don't know where she's from, but she's an early autism researcher. However, for many decades, autism research focused on other major group of autism traits like social difficulties, communication problems. As a result, repetitive behaviors were not well studied or understood. Repetitive behavior was not a required part of criteria for an autism diagnosis as defined in the previous edition of the DSM, Diagnostic Statistical Manual of Mental Health Disorders, or we would say the DSM manual, it's for short. Over the past decade, scientists have come to see that these behaviors as a central part of the autism definition. How does stimming relate to repetitive behaviors? A subset of repetitive movements such as twirling, hand flapping, or vocalization, as sometimes called stimming. This is short for stimulatory behavior, a clinical term that some autistic people have adopted. They have also spoken out about the importance of their stims, and I think that's really important that autistic people speak for themselves and not the people that are studying them or say they're studying them speak for them, because only the people that are going through the stuff would know what's best for them. That's just a Mariah note. That's not even in my notes. However, some researchers critique or criticize the term stimming, saying that it could in fact hamper the acceptance of repetitive behaviors. As soon as you call it that, you cease to entertain alternative conceptualizations of why autistic people might be doing this, says Matthew Goodman, and based on his statement, because he's a professor of, an associate professor of health sciences and computer science at Northeastern University in Massachusetts in Boston. What he says is not based on a fact, it's based on what he thinks, and basically my point is don't go on based on what he thinks. If you stem, I'm going over a topic, behavior, body focus, repetitive behavior, that's what I'm talking about. This is a suggested topic someone suggested to me, so I'm going over that now. Basically what I'm saying is don't take the word of a professor for what his opinion doesn't, it means not much to any people that actually have repetitive behavior, that are autistic or have ADHD or anything that does cause repetitive behavior. Do not take his word for it. If you want to stim or do what's best for you, do with that. Don't listen to what anyone else says based on your behaviors. If you need to stim, that's fine. And behaviors are seen as mere self-stimulatory, as he says, autistic people may face pressure to suppress. And I think that's important that he said that part, is because a lot of times, because of the way society has been, unfortunately, a lot of us have learned coping mechanisms to suppress some of our symptoms because they're considered distractors, which I think is very, unfortunately, it makes it more stressful. And because sometimes for a lot of people, like for me, I know when I'm not able to stim, it causes me more stress because when I am stimming, it reminds me you're safe and you don't have to stress and all that stuff. That's why I think trying to suppress those is not helpful and not healthy. That's just a thought I had. Do repetitive behaviors have a function beyond self stimulation? There is no concrete research available to answer this question. Some researchers have suggested that repetitive behavior offers autistics a way to shut down the outside world, which I think is very important. That actually is probably more likely. Like you're able to concentrate more with being able to stim or doing repetitive behaviors that help you, like your brain, um, it just helps your brain more. At least that's what I would say for me. I don't know. I can't speak for everybody. That's autistic. I speak for myself. Other people hold that these behaviors serve no function and simply reflect on a disorganized nervous system. Over the past several years, however, autistic people have described a wide variety of functions that their repetitive behaviors serve. Sometimes they say engaging in these behaviors just feel good, but beyond that, repetitive behavior may offer these individuals a way to calm their anxiety, generate and maintain awareness of their bodies, focus on their concentration, and deal with overwhelming sensations and emotions. They may also help autistic people communicate their mental and emotional state to others. That's the reason I was saying that repetitive behavior is important, and let the person engage. Because I know, remember, even when I was working, we were told not to let them do certain things, like not let kids that have being autistic do certain things. And I think that's unfair because I'm basically telling them they can't be themselves. Oh, hello. The same behavior may serve different purposes for different people. Like I said, like not every person that's autistic or has ADHD or dyslexic is the same. So, for what would work for me may not work for someone else. Just to be clear. And even the same person at different times, depending on the situation and the mood. Because if the situation is tense and stressful, you may see someone stimming more. If something is more relaxing for them, you may see. Also, the stim may be different based on the mood too. You're fine, no worries. Can repetitive behavior be harmful? Sometimes. Intense and constant repetitive behavior prevents autistic people from engaging in important activities such as learning in school. I feel like based on this article, I feel like that's not always true. I feel like that could be different based on the person, because like for somebody like doing, like for example, if you're like drumming or whatever, maybe that's the way you focus while you're doing something. So like that may not be like, even if you're doing it all the time, it may be a way you like keep focus in your head. So like I feel like it depends on that one. um Occasionally, it can result in harm. Now, this is possible. Some of the repetitive behavior can result in harm to others or yourself. And I've seen this before. Like when a person repeatedly bangs their head against the wall, I've seen that. That actually scared me one time. I actually witnessed this. A child was doing that. And you of course have to make sure the people you're around are safe, and also the child or person is safe. Because you don't want them to hurt themselves. I know they're not trying to hurt themselves, but they could hurt themselves. I mean, beyond these harms, repetitive behavior may distract others if perceived as and also perceived as odd, which may have social consequences for autistic people, which makes it harder for them to make friends or get a job. Unfortunately, sometimes, well, at least I've seen, and like I know I'm odd, I'm awkward and stuff being autistic myself. So like some of the stuff I do is not common to what everyone else does. So based on my behaviors, it may be off-putting to other people, unfortunately. But I'm not saying that because of those behaviors I should stop doing them. But yeah, it can make things like friendship and other things really hard for me. But yeah. How can repetitive behaviors best be managed? There is no reliable method to treat repetitive behaviors in autism. And I'm not saying treat, I don't think you should treat repetitive behaviors because they're just part of a person. This is based on what the article said. I say that because repetitive behaviors are not always something that needs to be treated. It just is part of the person. And I feel like that's the way of, at least this is based on what I think. This is a way of expressing myself. Like this little boy, I remember when I used to work at a school. This little boy, I would ask him because he loved this show, Puppy Dog Pals, and he would like, cause he would go past a certain part, and he loves the little song, and he would get all excited. So I would, I would ask him, "Do you want me to go back to me?" And he was like, "Yeah." And then he does this little cute little dance, like that's his stimming. Like I don't let him not like for him, his repetitive behavior is like go scroll, want me to scroll back to the beginning. Like that's not harmful. I mean, for him, he just likes that. So like not everything needs to be treated, and just let people. Sometimes I think people should just let people be who they are and not. They're not. We're not. I feel like sometimes people think we're science experiments, and we're not that. For many years, clinicians focused on eliminating repetitive behaviors in autistic people. This sometimes involved extreme methods, and I'm so sorry in advance because I know this can be triggering because reading this may make me upset. Just to clarify, because I don't like certain things that are said. Okay, so there's extreme methods they're going to try to use for treating these repetitive behaviors, such as prescribing powerful antipsychotic drugs, slapping children. I do not agree with any of this. Just to be clear. Or administering uh, um, electric shocks. I do not agree with this, and the reason I do not agree with this, these methods should not be used ever. I do not say this, and I say it because this kind of stuff that these extreme methods can cause trauma, like trauma that can expand beyond years with kids that are autistic because some of them cannot verbalize their needs, and I think it's unfair. I also be honest, this is just inhumane, like shocking somebody just because they're not complying. This is one thing that I think is very harmful to say because I don't think because it takes the choice away here and what this thought. Um, and it says yeah, I just want to say that I don't condone any of this. This is like really it made me sick because it makes me think of that one place that was shocking people to get them to comply to the behaviors of people, and that's not okay. Okay, so many clinicians now question whether these methods even require intervention unless they result in physical harm of an autistic person or others. And I still don't agree with the even if there is harm to others or autistic kids themselves. I do not agree with the stalking or slapping children. I do not agree with that, and I don't agree with putting them on medicine if that's not what they want. Just to be clear, when a behavior is distracting or preventing an autistic person from participating in school activities, clinicians may try to identify the behavior's function. If spinning in circles in a classroom may help an autistic person soothe her anxiety, for example, the doctor may try to find ways to minimize the anxiety um, or suggest another calming behavior that is less disruptive. But honestly, spinning in circles in class, I mean, I worked with a little girl that was an ADHDer, and her spinning and doing her moving around, that was a way of calming down. So I didn't have a problem with her doing it because me as an ADHDer, even though I didn't have the type of ADHD she has, for her that helped her. So I don't mind as long as she did what she was supposed to do. She can do that all she wants to do. Like, the point is, don't try to change someone into the way you want them to be, is what I'm trying to say. In the case of behavior that others may see as odd, autistic people may need to help devise strategies to delay engaging in those behaviors until they are alone. And I don't think that's fair that you have to, you're basically saying I can't do those behaviors because they're distracting to people. I don't think that's fair. Like, we don't tell people that are neurotypical or don't have disabilities they can't do certain behaviors. So why are we trying to stop people that are autistic or ADHD or any other disability out there and tell them they can't do the behaviors that help them soothe? And I understand that they're trying to say they want them not to do it when they're around people because they don't want to be judged, but at the same time, regardless of when you do it, if you're alone or not alone, you're going to be judged regardless because sometimes people are just judgmental, unfortunately. And it may be it may simply be that it's society and not autistic people that need to change. And I agree. I think society needs to be more fitting for all disabilities rather than just we're fit for the non people that don't have disabilities out there, because I feel like society has always been built for people that don't have disabilities rather than people that do have disabilities, which is very it's not very helpful for me and others like me. And that's the end of today's notes. Today's planned video will be on the topic of neurodivergence versus neurotypical, and it will be released today at 6 p.m. The next fun but an unscripted live stream will be on Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern. And also, I wanted to let you know that oh, thanks. No worries. Oh, yes, I also got to say that I did do the poll up under my community tab where you can vote on when you want to see the live stream for reaching 900 subscribers. And then also for my next scripted live stream, it will be on Saturday at noon Eastern, and it will be on my poem, Being Different. Thanks everyone for watching. Love you guys. Bye.